watching him now.
I did
about to play now.
Oh, you're not?
I'm over here. This is more important.
I thought you were coaching.
We're gonna be all right.
Okay. Yeah, you are. Oh, you're playing against the other best team. This is the championship right here.
We'll be fine.
Okay.
We can hold your mic, man.
He's going to be running out of here soon. What the hell do you guys want?
Coach, you left here 5 years ago. You left here. I know you felt an obligation to come back the last couple of years. You probably could have let this go by this point. What draws you back here every year?
Well, first, it's just ABCD. This is a great group. And, I don't think you have to live in the city. Like I told someone, once you're involved in an organization, you stay involved. And this is worth it, especially with our political climate right now. And, being involved in an anti-poverty group, a group that wants to do stuff for all these young kids, it's a no-brainer for me. Brad makes it easy. He does all the work, and I show up, golf, and do this. So it's pretty good. But I love coming back, and it reminds me, number one, I get to come back to Boston every year. Number two, it also tells you the season's about to start because they have it this late every year. So it's a lot of good reasons.
And one of the first things that you talked about this was you got Brad involved.
Yeah.
Why was that so important to you to kind of really keep that pipeline?
Well, I just thought he was the only one that was going to be able to keep this going, and so it's funny. Literally, our first conversation on the phone, and I give Brad credit because obviously he trusted me more than he should have because we were talking about a lot of basketball stuff. And then at the very end, I said, hey, I need a favor. And he said yes before I asked him. And then I told him what it was. And this is who Brad is anyway. I mean, he's so giving and he's an amazing dude. So this was easy for him, and he's been great at doing it.
Doc, you know what it's like to go into a season where there are really high expectations for you to go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Brad is kind of going through that really for the first time with LeBron out west now. Do you see similarities between that team you had in 08 and this Celtics team that he has?
Yeah, it's similar. I think, the difference, I guess, is this team has kind of been together a little bit, where our team is pretty new. Having said that, it really doesn't matter. Like, I don't think anyone doesn't want that expectation. Like, you want that. Like, you want to go into the season, you want to be the favorite. You want people to pick you. And it doesn't matter if they do or not. If you think you have that type of team, then you're going to try to do what you think you should do. And so I guarantee you, if no one picked the Celtics this year, that's not going to happen, but I'm saying if they didn't, they would think they're going to win anyway. And that's really all that matters. Like, I had a group like that here, and it was a great group to have.
Is there inside the locker room a different kind of pressure when you have those external expectations on you?
I don't know. Like, I just thought if you want to win it, like, it's part of the bargain, and you should accept it and embrace it. And that's all we talked about. Like, this is where we're supposed to be. This is how it should be. And let's attack it and enjoy it. And I thought our guys did that most of the time. I think if you sit back and start thinking about all the other stuff, then it'll eat you up. I don't think they're going to do that.
While we're talking about that, this group, over time there's been fractures, and now Ray's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
How do you frame it now?
Well, it was a close group. It really was. I mean, that team, the 2008 group, was as close of a group as you could ever coach. Everyone bought into their roles. Everyone, it wasn't a perfect group all the time. We had our arguments and our differences, and that's fine. But on the floor, I mean, I take that group every night on the floor to go to war. I mean, I always tell, if I had one game to win for my life, I'm taking that 2008 group, and we're going to go to war because they were going to show up and do it together. As years have gone on, things have been fractured. I hate it. I hate seeing it. I would love this to have been a celebration for Ray. There's not a lot said here about it. Ray won us a title. He really did. I think he should be celebrated. I think he should be celebrated in Boston. He's responsible for that banner. He really is. And if I had one wish, I wish I could do a better job of getting that group back together. I can get a lot of them back together. I just can't get that whole group back together. And they really should be, because they were so close, and it really hurts me to see what's going on.
And it seems part of that stems from just kind of a falling out between Ray and Rondo. And it seems even now there's still some fresh wounds there. What could you possibly done different, if anything, to kind of maybe help?
Oh boy, I don't know. I've tried. I can tell you that. And it's a lot of little things. You know, here's the thing. You probably have 2 Hall of Fame guys as far as in competitiveness. And the reason Ray was who he is, the reason Rondo is who he is, and Kevin and Paul, you know, I think Paul's done the right thing as far as trying to throw out the olive branch. It's also why we were really good, is why they don't get along. Very stubborn, very tough, very competitive, and no one wants to give in. You know, I bet what was the phrase I used to use with them 1,000 times in arguments with the team? It's about getting it right, not who's right. You know, and I hope we can get that right, because they're all probably right in whatever they're saying, in some way or form, but they need to get it right and get together.
Doc, how does every coach handle that differently? I mean, coaches of very talented teams.
Yeah.
Different coaches handle great players and great teams.
You just don't know your group. Like every year, you can have the most talent, and if they don't get along for whatever reason, you're not going to win. You don't have to get along great off the floor. Now that team did for the most part. They had their little groups and all that, but you have to be able to sacrifice everything on the floor. And if you can get your group doing that, then you'll win. But I think each group is different, each team is different. You know, I thought Kevin really helped me here because he was so giving. He sacrificed his entire game. He was willing to do that. In LA, I wasn't as successful. You know, we won a lot of games. I mean, we won 57 games a year, but that group was never as tight. And so you realize that that's the key. Like, you got to get along on the floor and put everything aside. And if you can't do that, you literally can't win. It's impossible to.
That tightness that you talk about, Doc, I mean, it sounds, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not something you can coach. That's going to have to develop from within the group itself.
Oh no, you can do both. I mean, you need the group, but you got to do things. You got to hang in there with them. You got to force it and push it and preach it. And you got to ask guys from a coaching standpoint to sacrifice. Like, I don't know how anyone thinks they're going to win doing it their way. Like, you got to give up something to win. Each group, you look at Golden State, I mean, they're a great example. Each individual on that team could do way more if they wanted to, but they understand if they did way more, the team wouldn't be as good. And for them to play their best, they have to have a certain amount of passes, the ball movement. It works. But each guy comes in and they give it up. They give it up for the team. You know, you look at some of these other teams, they don't do that. You always hear everyone say, I want to win the world championship. And I always say, as long as it's comfortable for you, or you will be winning if it's uncomfortable. And that'll be the key. That'll be the key here. That'll be the key in LA or wherever. You know, it's always going to be the key. Red Auerbach probably started.
I was going to say that it could be something that Brad faces here. A lot of guys last year in the playoffs who were very successful on the big stage, and now you bring in
two more. You're not bringing them in, but you're bringing them in. You know, like Kyrie missed the whole second half, and Gordon's coming back. You just hope from afar that if you can't see that those two guys should be playing, but honestly, guys, sometimes they don't. They say, listen, we can play too, and that's true. So, but this team, I would be very surprised. They seem very close, and the way you can tell a close team is how hard they play defense. Close teams play hard defensively, you know, and they play hard. They're competitive and as tough-nosed as any defensive team in the league, and that's only because they get along. So I couldn't imagine them not getting along.
How about the Clippers?
Who? I don't know. I mean, I actually love our team. We're young. I don't think if I was a guard, I would want to play against us. You know, when you have Patrick Beverly and Avery Bradley in the backcourt, I think hopefully we can create some nightmarish nights for people that way. You know, our key is how easy will it be for us to score. You know, I look at us like the Pistons, you know, before there was, you know, where there was really no like stars, you know, but we got a lot of good players. Tobias Harris is going to have a breakout year. He's going to be big. I would like to see Gal a lot. That would help us. You know, last year Gal played for 20 games, so we do have the players. We just got to have the help. All right, leave me alone. All right.